Hello, how are you doing? And welcome to another episode of the Dr. Will Show, where we have discussions on social innovation and becoming the CEO of you. Each week, I zoom in a practitioner, business person, or content creator, and we just chop it up, have discussions about strategies and ideas about how you can live your best life. I'm your host, Dr. Will, and today I am here with Emerald Sparks. How are you doing, Emerald?
I'm fine.
Excellent. Your name sounds like a superhero.
Aw, one day you'll see it in lights.
That's all right. That's all right. So, people, as you know, season 4 of the Dr. Will Show is the season of the edupreneur. I am trying to get educators leveled up to take control of their career as well as their finances. And today I am here with Emerald Sparks, and we will be talking about how to get your financial house in order. So for those who will be watching this on YouTube or will be listening on SoundCloud or iTunes, will you please introduce yourself, Emerald?
So my name is Emerald Sparks. I'm currently in Ohio. I am a financial strategist. And so I felt that that title was better than like a financial advisor or consultant. Basically, I create financial strategies for you to live your best financial life. I'm a speaker. I'm an author. I have a book entitled Vision Future Reality, How to Budget Like a Boss. And what I do is I help solve people's misconceptions about money, specifically as it relates to credit, budgeting, just the whole financial gamut. I teach people about investing. I teach people about estate planning, life insurance, just every kind of topic of financial services or financial literacy that you can think of. I teach people and help them maintain their financial life.
Awesome. And I love that estate planning because a lot of Black folk, we don't get into estate planning on that
Don't
level.
know nothing about it.
So I like that. So I always like to ask people this because as a child, you know, you grow up and folks say, what do you want to be? Hey, I want to be Batman, or I want to be a fireman, a superhero, or a teacher, or whatever. What drew you to personal finance?
So it really came out of I have always been in financial services. Like I've always been about money and I always have been about numbers. So those things come very easy to me. So the personal finance is when I realized when I got older and I realized that the majority of my friends were not able to do some of the things that I was able to do with my money. And so that basically related to like going on trips and stuff. So I was like, I wanted to go to all these places, but I didn't have anybody to go with. And I'm like, y'all go to work every day. Like, what are y'all doing with y'all money? And so I literally would help them create strategies for their own life to set them up so that not only could they travel with me, but because they could do some other things that they have been wanting to do. So the personal finance part came out of just the need to want to go on trips with my friends. So me starting to help them there.
So what are the financial rules or game of financial management that you actually live by?
So as far as financial management, as far as a strategy, there's things, of course, I don't spend more than I make. I do not put more on a credit card than I can pay in a month. So those things, I have like rules of thumbs. Even when I'm buying something, I make sure that I can buy it 3 times. So I will never buy something and I can't buy it 3 times. So things like that. But as far as management of how my finances are structured, I use 4 bank accounts. I use 2 checking accounts and 2 savings accounts. So if you want me to elaborate on those?
Yeah, I never heard people balling like that. Talk to me.
So I use 1 check. So everything comes into 1 checking account. The second checking account is for bills. So once everything hits that main checking account, all bills for that month are being transferred to the checking bill account. And then from a savings perspective, I take a percentage from the income account and move it to my savings for emergencies. After I've reached 6 to 9 months of my fixed expenses in that account, I stop contributing to that account. And then next, there is a savings fund that is for personal desires, like wants and things like that, trips and things like that. So those are how they're structured. So although I stopped necessarily saving in a emergency standpoint, I'm still now using that money to fund investment accounts that I have. So I never stop saving in a sense. I just move it to something that's going to earn me more interest. So that is how I manage my funds.
So on your website, I like that. I'm just like, ooh, she's drowning in the money, yo.
Just swimming in it. Woo.
Oh, ooh, I love that. I love that. On your website, it says that you solve misconceptions about money.
Yes.
What would you say are the most common misconceptions people have about money?
The biggest and the most biggest misconception out there is people think that they need a whole lot of money to either save or to budget or to basically do anything financially. And one of my favorite quotes is, if you can't manage the little money that you have, you can't manage, the larger money. And it's true. So money is a tool. It's a tool to get you or to place you in a different situation or to get the things that you want. And really, it's a habit as far as money management. So if you have $100 and you can't manage that, you're certainly not going to be able to manage $100,000. And that's real. So you have to start like where you are and manage that appropriately before you can say, oh, I can have $1 million, because that $1 million is going to, go as quickly as $100 would. So that is the biggest misconception. They have that same misconception about investing. They think if they don't have like $10,000 to invest, they can't invest. And it's just not true. Like when I started investing, I started with $50. That's nothing, So people think that they need a lot of money. And I kind of wrote these down so I didn't forget. And that they think that they need more money. So there's a difference. So like people think they need large amounts of money, and then they think they need more money. And I say you really don't necessarily probably have an income problem in your life. You more likely have a priority problem. Like what you're spending your money on is inappropriate. It's probably not that you need to make more money, but you can. We all want to make more money. Even millionaires want to make more money. You always can make more money. But more than likely you have a spending issue or, a discipline issue. It's really probably not an income level issue.
Because okay. I find it interesting because, since a brother got a house now.
Right.
Okay. If the grass got to get cut, whether it's me or I got to pay somebody to do it.
Right.
Water got to get paid.
It does.
That's me. No longer paid by the apartment complex. Trash is paid by me. No longer paid by the apartment complex.
Right.
And when there is a repair or you say, man, I want to paint, that's all on me. That sounds like more money than a spending situation.
Right. So let me tackle that. So
okay.
There are a lot, and this is not true. I'm just saying where the issue lies.
Okay, talk to me.
So people are in a situation where sometimes their living expenses are too much. So there are even rules of thumbs to living expenses. I had a client that I was working with, and I said, before you do anything, half of her money was being spent on her rent and her car note. That was before she bought groceries. That was before she paid a light bill, water bill, anything. So already she was living, although she could afford it, like she was making the payments, she was living above her means, because your living expenses should only be 50% of your income. So all that stuff does have to get paid, and you are right. But sometimes people's living expenses are too high. Not saying that that's your situation.
No, that's not my situation. We're not at 50%. We don't pay note on vehicles,
Okay.
and the mortgage is well below
Okay. So
half of my
people
income.
have to consider that as well. You have to consider what your necessities, like what are you spending on your necessities?
Okay, okay. We're gonna get into that a little deeper down the line. It's just, I'm a firm believer in the side hustle.
Yeah.
Right? And multiple
I
streams
think everybody needs multiple streams of income. I'm
income.
not saying that everybody needs to be a business owner, because that's
Yeah.
not for everybody, and business entrepreneurship is hard. I can tell you that firsthand. But I believe everyone needs multiple streams of income, because now relying on one income is very detrimental. Like, things happen, life happens. Like, you need, if it's not driving Uber, if it's not delivering food from Uber Eats, if you break hair, whatever talent that you do, you need to be assigning, monetizing that, because you want to set yourself up in case something happens. Like, if that bucket closes, you need another bucket to go to.
I hear you. I hear you. So here's the thing that I want to ask you about, because now I'm in my 40s and my money isn't bad. Of course, I want my money to get bigger, and I'm working on moves right now for the next level of my career. But in my field, people my age generally have more education and make more money versus that teacher in their 20s who more often has a bachelor's degree and working off base pay. And then people in their 30s may have a master's or a specialist, and their pay goes up some, and then so forth and so on. What are some of the financial goals people should be having in their 20s, 30s, or 40s?
Okay. So that is another great point. So I do not believe in, by certain ages, you should have certain stuff, because I believe that puts a lot of pressure on people. And then when you do not have those things, you feel like you are less than. So, and I give you an example, but I will tell you things that you can do in, all stages of life. So I meet a lot of women specifically that come to me and they say, I want to own a house in the next 3 months. I want to have this and this amount, and I want a man, and I want a family, and I want to get married. I'm like, hold on now, boo, wait. I'm like, hold on. Let me talk about that. And I'm like, realistically, owning a house is not expensive. Buying a house is not expensive. Owning a house is expensive. So roofs are expensive. Water tanks, all that. All that stuff to do to maintain that house is expensive. It is expensive. Your mortgage is going to be the least of your concerns when it comes to owning a house.
Yes.
You just hoping that the hot water tank don't go out. So, I don't believe in different stages. I believe that if you are in a stage, this is what you should be doing. So if you are married with children, you should be, one, investing for your guys' retirement. And if you want to invest for your child's college education. I don't necessarily believe, with how we are in the world today, I do not necessarily believe in 529 plans. And for people who don't know what those are college savings accounts that you set up for children, it's an investment account, and you are investing, and then when your child reaches college age, they can withdraw that money to pay for school expenses. I do not believe in those things, because so many kids are not going to college. And so what happens if they don't go or use that money to go to college, you have to pay taxes on all that money. So that may put you in a different tax bracket and all that good stuff. So I believe in investment accounts for children, because then that money you're paying taxes on it anyway, but they can use that money for whatever. So that is my thing. You should be saving for whatever stage your child will do, and you should be investing for your retirement. And if you want to own a home, not because everybody is telling you to own a home, own a home. I have no qualms about versus renting or owning, because people have just different life stages. People who necessarily travel a lot, they may not want the expense of owning a home. It may just be very well fine for them to have an apartment. You just have to live your life that was based on your circumstances. I'm not saying by 30 you should be owning a house. No. When you are in your 20s, you definitely want to invest, because you don't want to miss out on no compounding interest. more than likely you're not doing anything with your money anyway, but going on trips and going out to eat and spending it on drinks with your friends. So you might as well invest some money. I think at all stages you should be investing. You can, of course, be a little more aggressive when you're younger. And then when you are hitting those 40s and 50 ranges, you want to be a little bit more conservative. So I think you should be investing throughout all life stages. As far as 20, you want to make sure too that you are getting into the habits of having good money habits, because 20, I don't know, you may be still staying at home, you may not have a lot of expenses, but you want to train yourself to have those expenses. And then 30, you know, you're grown, you ain't no more YOLO, you know, you're probably a little bit more realistic in your, you know, endeavors in life. You may or may not have a man or a woman, or man to man, whatever you like, spouse, whatever. And you guys need to have that conversation. So when you get in a relationship, you need to be asking them, what's their credit score? And it's not to be nosy or invasive. It's just that these things affect you. Like when I met my husband, he was not in the best credit situation. And I said, boo, before we get together, we need to get your credit together, because that it wasn't a deal breaker. I knew I could help him along the way, but those are conversations that I feel that people don't have. Or how much student loan debt you have. Like, you need to be having these conversations with whoever you are thinking about being serious with, because it affects you. If they have a lot of debt and y'all trying to plan this life, a lot of their money or y'all money is going to go to debt. So y'all might have to delay some trips or something. Like, you have to have those conversations. So that is my advice. I don't necessarily believe in by life stage you should have certain things, but I believe if you are in a life stage, there are certain things that you should be doing. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I'm just sitting here like, you know, I just got this paper. I don't have the fan with Martin Luther King face on it. You know, like when you start talking about, like, before you get booed up now, you ask about their credit score and their debt. Like, you know, I've had other people on my show to talk about finances, but no one has ever went there like you did to say, okay, let's put this money on the table.
We got to.
You know, because it reminds me of that documentary series of Black Love. And Viola Davis was saying how when she met her husband, she was like, oh, I got a bad credit score. I can't tell this man this. I can't tell this man this. And he was like, girl, I knew you had bad credit. But just the whole, you know, thought process of, you know, let's put this money on the line like that. That's interesting. Now, in my field, and I've had conversations like this with other educators, because I'm all about educators monetizing the skills they have and actually, you know, leveling up and making more money if that's what you want to do.
Right.
But it seems, and I haven't spoken to everyone, of course, but there's this thing where very hush-hush about money. Like, we don't want to talk about it. It don't exist. I'm in this to teach the cheering. I'm not in this to make money. I love my cheering. I'm not here about the money. That's for them greedy folk over there. We save the cheering. They don't. The conversation about money is, to me, is negative and not very positive. What goes, I guess, into the mindset of people with money, and how do you change the relationship with people who with money?
Okay, so I have a few different viewpoints on that. So a lot of people I've met a lot of people, I've worked with a lot of people who feel guilty for making large sums of money, because it goes back to religion and how they grew up. So a lot of people feel that if you make a lot of money, that you are ungodly, you just not loving the Lord, and it's just basically like a sin. It has a negative connotation to it. That's religion. That's usually Christian Baptist religion. And then on the other spectrum, they feel that people with money are evil. They scam people out of their money. They were dishonest. So they already have a negative connotation with a lot of money. They feel like if they're not helping or doing something for free, God is not going to bless them. I mean, all types of crazy stuff, right? So that comes from childhood. And so I have this assessment where basically I ask people a list of questions, and on one of the kind of categories is, how was money handled as a child with you? Was it something that was, flowing in? Was it something y'all spent very quickly, like it was burning a hole in y'all pocket? Like, how did your parents, like when you asked them for money, did they say, who you think I am, at ATM? Like, all those things affect how we think about money. And then we grow up with these things ingrained in us. And then when we become adults, we start doing those things. Or, it just depends. Like, either if money was limited, we get some money, we spend it all. Like, it could just go different ways. And so what happens with the conversation of money, because money or finances is something that you can hide. It's one of the things about us that we can hide. Like, don't nobody know necessarily how much money you have unless they you tell them. You can look nice, got on red bottoms, Gucci bags, Chanel bags. People think you got money, but your bank account could be sitting on negative. It's just one of the things that we can hide. And so what happens is we get in these situations and we just be messed up. But how we change that conversation is, one, identify how we feel about money. What emotions do we attach for money? And then remember that it's a tool. I said that at the beginning. You can't have an emotion about a hammer, right? It's a hammer. It is to do what it does. But people have an emotion with money because they like it's a person, and it's not. It's a piece of paper. And once people, one, condition themselves to think that, they won't feel any certain type of way about money, whether they have it or don't have it. But it's what society puts on us. You don't have money, you this. If you have money, you this. And that's how people operate with money. So we have to change our mindset about money, how we view money, and then how we handle money, because that's how it all goes. Once you change your mind about something, it changes how you deal with something. So talking about it, that is one of my passions. That's one of my goals, is for people to talk about money like they talk about their deadbeat baby daddies, like they talk about their baby mamas, like they talk about their relationships. I want money to be a conversation like that. And I've started that conversation with my group of friends, and I'm not ashamed to say, I ain't got it this week, boo. We gonna have to do that next week. Or, I'm not ashamed, and a lot of people are ashamed to say no when it comes to money. And it's like, why would I put myself in a situation to not impress my friends, but to hang out with my friends when I can't ask my friends to pay my light bill? Because the first thing your friend gonna say when you don't know how to spend your money, like, what was you wasting your money on? Oh, no, I was kicking it with you. Oh, well, you should have rethought that. So you see what I'm saying? So yeah, we have to think about things like that. Your friend not gonna pay your light bill. I don't care how besties, how long, 20, 25-year friendships. Your friend is not going to pay your light bill if you mismanage your money. She shouldn't. You're an adult. So talking about it, saying, no, I ain't got it this week, and being okay with that, because that does not make you a bad person. That makes you a wise person. That's it.
I like that. I like that. So let's get into savings and how important it is for people to create a monthly budget. So how should people start saving, right? And what should someone's budget look like? Should everyone have a standard budget of, okay, I'm going to put this much on food, this much on lodging, this much on this? Or should it be more so of, these are my goals for the month and this is where my money goes? I mean, how should that all look like?
So a combination of the two. And so that's really why I named my book Budget Like a Boss, because it literally takes you step by step on how to create a budget and the things that you should do. So I've read a lot of books that were like going around the topic, and I was like, no, I want to tell the people exactly what to do. This is what you do. This is how you set it up. And I even included a template in there to get you guys started. So it's a combination of what you said, allocating money to where it should go, and then having goals, financial goals attached with that. So, and I'll give you an example. So as far as a breakdown, like I said, 50% of your living expenses should be dedicated to, your income. So that means it's a benchmark, like it's a goal. Like if you are at 70, see what you can cut down. And a lot of our lives, we can cut down stuff. We just don't want to cut down stuff. So I had a challenge over January. It was called the GGP challenge. And it was, you could only use your extra money outside of bills to pay for gas, groceries, and personal development. And so what that did was I had a young lady in there and she was like, I got to get my hair and nails done. I said, okay, boo, you do you. It was just for a month, but okay, whatever. And so people have convinced themselves that they need certain stuff in their life to be who they are. And, you know, women in our hair, that's a big thing. Bundles are expensive. So I said, everybody get y'all bundles in December and we're going to rock this out in January. It's just all about keeping, what are you doing to keep your money? And one of the exercises that I take my clients through it is saying, if you only get paid twice a month, why are you spending money 30 times a month? And that's just if you spend money once a day. People have 6, 5, 6, 7 transactions a day. So I'm just giving you the basis. Think about what's coming in and what's going out. So that's really the issue, is the frequency. So if you get paid only 2 days, you shouldn't be spending money for 30 days. And budgeting is really just allocating money, like you said. I'm not spending no more for this than this amount. I'm not doing no more for this than this amount. And then having goals saying, okay, if I want to own a house in 3 months or a year or whatever that time frame is, figuring out how much your down payment is, figuring out where you want to live. That's a lot of people's issues too. They want to own something, but don't know how much it costs. They have no idea what neighborhood they want to live in. Like this is just one of my short-term goals. I'm working to the point where me and my family can have a chef and a housekeeper. I need to know how much those things cost. I need to know how much those things cost, so I know how many clients I need to work with, how many speaking engagements I need to have. I can't say I want something and don't know how much it costs because I don't know what I'm working for. I don't have a target. So you need to know what type of house you want, what type of neighborhood you want to live in. Having goals, those are the goals. You need a vision, future reality. You need a vision for your finances. Just like you have a vision for your wedding or that man or that woman that you want, you need to have a vision for your money, because if you don't, money will just go everywhere. You just won't know. And that's my advice there. Saving is important, not just because we're an adults and we have to save, but you don't want to look up at 65 when it's time for you to retire and you can't maintain the lifestyle that you are living currently. Because that's the goal. Like when you retire, you want to at least maintain the lifestyle that you have currently. If you have to downsize from that and you already are not living the life that you want to live, and then you have to downsize from that, you're going to be pissed about it. So savings is important, and it's just where you are saving your money. So like I said, I don't put any more than 6 to 9 months in my savings account at my bank. And my savings account at my bank is not even at my primary bank for my checking. It's at a whole nother bank. So I don't even touch it and look at it. And then the other part of that, I'm investing my money. That's the quickest way. That's the easiest passive income to have. That is the quickest way to get to $1 million. If you don't want to be a business owner, and you are not going to save your way to $1 million in your checking account. And you are not just going, God just not going to bless you with $1 million. You got to do something. You got to do something to get something. So, he's not just going to say, oh, you got faith. And if you ain't out here working, he's not going to bring it to you. So you got to put in the effort, and you got to get serious about your money, because nothing that we do as an adult is free. This couch that I'm sitting on, I can't sit in this house for free. So you have to get serious with your money, or your money is going to make you, I can't cuss. It's going to play with you. If you don't get serious about your money and tell it where to go, it's going to tell you what to do.
I hear you. Now we didn't have a plan for the house. I'm going to look, this was divine decree. Now, we're seriously, because my pops was saying, you need to go buy a house. I was like, man, I won't buy a house, man. I don't want food, no yard work. I want food, no repairs. I don't want food, none of that stuff. And, my wife loves going to realtor.com. And
yeah, vision.
Yep, she loves going there, right? So she found a townhouse and she showed it to me. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, $76,000. I said, that's cheap. So she called she sent the realtor an email, and the guy was like, you can come see it tomorrow. And so when we checked it out, I was like, Now, 6 months prior, just on a whim, we went to a bank and did the paperwork and got approved for a loan, but we didn't move anywhere. We didn't do anything with it. So after seeing 76,000, right, I called up the loan lady. I said, hey, what's this going to be? And I said, ooh, that's a whole lot cheaper than the $850 I'm paying right now. And I said, can we go buy a house? She said, well, it's been 6 months. Your stuff is expired. We got to run a new loan. I said, okay, go ahead and do that. So then she got back to me and she said, you got a lower interest rate than beforehand, and you got to pay 3.5 down. Okay. I said, what? So we actually had, it was a 3.62.
Oh, that's rate. Good.
Oh yeah, and 3.5% down. And I said, I said, look. This is what I want to pay. What this gonna cost me? She said 6 something. I said, is that with everything? She said, yes. I said, wife, we going house hunting. And then we were just blessed, alhamdulillah. 2 months after that, we actually bought a house.
Well, it was some planning. Now, your wife did the planning, not necessarily you, but there was some planning on that part. I'm sure your credit, for you to get 3.6, your credit score was where it needed to be. Your wife had a vision. Y'all had some type of budget of how much you wanted to spend on a house. So there was some planning in that. You didn't do the planning per se, but it was some planning in that. That was your plan.
I knew what I wanted to spend. My wife kept taking us to houses, and I'm looking at her going, I said, look, girl.
Right. So that was
here.
You knew what you wanted to spend. And that's you made another good point. When you have good credit is leverage. You can you said, this is what I want to pay. And this is that's what happens that's what happened to me when I walked on a car dealership. I said, if you can give me this car for $250, because I think at the time I may have had a 740. I said, if you can give me this car right now, I said, I'll buy it today. And I got that car and I drove that car off the lot. So when you have good credit, you have leverage, because that is it's like a golden ticket. You like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. That is your golden ticket to get anything what you want. Just, I don't use all my credit. Let me say that disclaimer. I don't use all the available credit that I have. Yes. But I know that when I walk into somewhere, no matter how much money I make, no matter what your income is, your skin color, you got good credit. They're going to talk to you a little different.
I'm going to hear you.
A little different.
I hear you. Now, since you went there, now I got to throw this out there to you, because a lot of people, particularly those who their homes, parents didn't talk about money. And they didn't talk about financial management. They didn't talk about credit. They didn't talk about any of those things to prepare their children get to college, where everybody named mama throwing them a credit card. Bam, bam, bam. And college is at the time, as Willie, generally is the brokest time you are as an adult.
Right.
And so you shopping. You going out.
They buying pieces.
Yeah, all kind of stuff, and you can literally leave college with a 4-something credit or if you're not prepared.
Right.
If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So if you will, speak to the importance of credit, not only in building your future, but in future job opportunities, and what actually goes into one's FICO score.
Okay. So credit, as far as how it affects you as an adult. So one, literally everything that you do, they're going to run your credit score, your phone bill, your not necessarily your utility bills, but some stuff that we get, like, Verizon, AT&T, DirecTV, cable companies, life insurance, car insurance, home insurance. All those people run your credit and give you a rate based on that. So people who have bad credit scores are deemed irresponsible. They're deemed risky. all these just negative things. So as an adult, you want good credit just because you want the best rate that you can get on whatever you're trying to get. I know jobs will look at your credit score and say, well, if they got bad credit, they don't pay their bills on time. Are they going to come to work on time? Are they going to steal from us? So credit, all of that is looked at when you are an adult. And then what was your other question? I want to make sure I get that right.
Well, what goes into
your FICO score?
FICO score, yeah.
So your FICO score is really just a combination of your Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. So those are the 3 different credit bureaus, if you guys didn't know that. And that FICO is supposed to be some combination of those 3. Not necessarily a direct average of those 3, but a combination of those 3. So your FICO score may be sometimes maybe higher than your individual credit scores that you'll see. You will never see the same number across the board because each company is different. Each company has its own algorithms of how they calculate stuff. If you have ever looked at your credit report, you will see that, you know, something may be on your TransUnion and not your Equifax. That's just how they have gathered information. That's who the lender decided to report to. All that is a variance of that. But your FICA is something that is a combination of all 3.
I hear you. And it's hey, people, you gotta, you know, Jay-Z said, what's better, credit, you know, you gotta keep it moving, which I understand in your 20s, it might not be something that you are aware of or even thinking about, but for sure, when you hit them 30s or even myself in my 40s, that becomes reality, because at that time when you say, I want to buy a house, or you get to a situation where you excited, you calling your mama, you like, Mama, I just got that job. They're going to pay me $125,000. But then you say, oh, I'm about to get this Lexus now. And you get there. And instead of that Lexus maybe costing you $650 a month, because of your income, they may say, we're going to give it to you, but you may be paying $750 a month for that
more,
Lexus.
$800-900, depending on the Lexus.
So what?
I said, depending on the Lexus, maybe $800-900.
Ooh, Lord. That's the more I pay for my mortgage. Now I can't be driving nothing more than what I'm living in. Now I can't do that.
Oh, now I know several clients that came to me and their car note is way more than their mortgage.
Look, get you an Accord then. Let's just bring it down. Let's bring it down. But you know, you can, because of your income, there are certain things you'll still be able to get, but your interest rate will be higher.
Yes.
And you'll be paying more than you should be paying.
Ooh, I know somebody, one of my clients, their interest rate on their car was 25%.
Oh.
I said, you should have left that car right there on that lot.
For sure. I mean, you know, it's bad if you're paying 12, but 25, you need to get a bus pass.
Okay. So yeah, I have seen clients just do some crazy stuff with their money, and it's all because they just don't know. And I don't judge them. I just, you know, help them along the way. But it's I've seen some crazy stuff.
I hear you. But they're good to have you to provide them with that guidance and that financial education, because it's important, because, you know, the biggest problem I see with us as Black people is, you know, after integration, a lot of us as individuals moved up like George and Wheezy. But as a community, we have not built wealth because we don't understand money on that level, and how building that generational wealth, you know, changes the game for everybody.
And one of the quickest way to do that, and I tell Black people this all the time, is life insurance. It's tax-free.
Yes.
You don't have to, there's no limit that you can have. So, to a certain extent, there's no limit that you can have. And it's the quickest way for your next generation to be rich. And we one, a lot of what we do is selfish. We be like, if I die and I had to work for everything I had, they're gonna have to work for everything they had. I'm like, why? Why? People don't do that. Like, these schools that have been around for years are surviving. Somebody bought life insurance policies and now they can give out scholarships. They can have big endowments. They can do whatever they need to do. That's life insurance. Wealthy people that you know, they may have enough to be self-insured, but if you got a $3 million policy that's tax-free, I would love to have $3 million tax-free. Life insurance is the fastest way, quickest way to do that. And people don't invest in it. They don't believe in it. And I'm like, when my kids die, they will at least all get $1 million a piece. They will have the money management because of who I am. Y'all can go start a business. Y'all can be the next Bill Gates. Y'all can be the next Steve Jobs. All of that they have access to because they have money. And money just puts you in a different situation. It gives you different opportunities. It just does so much for you. And I'm not saying that from a point to just be money hungry or be all about money and just to be evil about it. But think about the opportunities you would have had if your parents had more money. If my mom would have sat down and talked to me about money and started investing for me when I was born, and then when I got 18 and then decided, I want to be an entrepreneur, I'd be on TV already. Okay. You would have knew my name.
I hear you. $1 million. Woo. So now look, if you want to adopt a 44-year-old, I'm free. Just want to let you know.
Free, you good with that?
I'm free, but I want that $1 million policy too. I want to talk to you now about the side hustle, because I'll be honest with you. I don't even know how tarnished my reputation may be in my field, because I keep driving the hammer now on my friends. Hopefully they're still friends with me, about the side hustle and monetizing themselves and not giving away all of their pretty for free. Stop writing books for these education publishers because they're not getting upfront money. They're getting paid I saw a look on your face. Yeah, they're getting paid 15% on the back end, right?
Writing a book is hard.
So I'm saying, listen, you need to self-publish.
Right.
Put your book out, get paid. If you charge $10, Amazon may take $3 of that, but that's $7 you get to keep. And if you sell 1,000 books, that's $7 times 1,000. So, and you can turn that over to do other stuff. So, if you will, please speak to how important it is for people to actually have multiple streams of income.
It's so important. Like, the people that you see on TV, the people that you follow on Instagram, they have at least 5 streams of income. So with my business, I have set up, I think I got 5 streams of income now. So not only do I do one-on-one coaching with people, but I have speaking engagements that I get paid for. I wrote a book. I have retail merchandise for my company. I have courses. So that was 4. So just for me doing my financial coaching business, I have set up multiple streams of income in that. I also, this is unrelated to finances, I love dogs. So I have a dog boarding and daycare business. Wow. So I have that. And then when I started out being an entrepreneur, I don't know if y'all go to bars, but those girls would say, hey, do you want a sample? I was the sample girl. And I was getting free liquor. So when I left corporate America, I took a significant pay cut to be somebody's assistant. That's because the organization that comes with being an assistant, making phone calls, keeping charts, like I needed, not saying that I didn't have that, but I use all that in my, in my business today, like figuring out how to do a calendar, how to answer the phone, how to make cold calls. Like I learned all of that by taking a pay cut. And people are afraid to take a pay cut to learn a new skill that will elevate them to in a new level. So why I did that, I did 50 million other things. Like, people were making fun of me because I was doing so many different things. I was consulting with people. I was somebody's personal assistant. Like, I was doing this, I was here, I was that, but I wasn't broke. I was not broke. And that's the thing, when you have a side hustle, I know you may not charge a lot. I would never, ever, let me just go back to this. For these people out here who writing books and for free, I would never, ever do that. Because when I saw that Tony Robbins was charging $32 for his book, I said, hold on. I need a book. And if you are a speaker or educator and you speak, to have a book, that's the easiest way to make money. It's easy, because when you speak and you speak profoundly and you speak into people, they're going to be at the back of the room trying to get your book. That's just is what it is. So right, and self-publishing is not expensive. I've heard people say that it's super expensive. Now, if you do mass copies of it, I'm sure. But there are small businesses that work with other small businesses. When I got my book or started my book, I wrote my book, and it cost me $175 to self-publish it. They distributed it everywhere, to Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, da-da-da-da-da. And then when I went to print copy, I started selling it off my website. So I was taking 100% of that. Nobody was getting a cut of that. You have to monetize what you do, because there is a skill. We all have skills and talents that God gifted us with. And God didn't create you to be broke. God didn't want you to be poor. I'm sure that is the desire of nobody's heart, to be broke or poor. So God gave you a talent. He knows this world works on money. Monetize that, and don't feel like you are doing a disservice to people because now you have attached a price to what you do. Because if somebody wants the knowledge and the expertise that you have, they're going to pay for it. And it doesn't matter how much it is. When I started my business, when I transitioned my business to being online, because I knew I was about to set my life up, I was about to start having kids, I wanted to travel. And so I wanted money to be coming in and not me physically having to go get it. So when I transitioned my business to being online, I hired a business coach. I didn't have that money when I had a business coach, but I knew I needed that, so I paid for it. So it's people out there, like, when they tired of being in the situation, they will pay for whatever that you are offering if they believe and trust in you. And we have to get to the mindset that, yes, we want to volunteer our time. This is something that I love to do. Finances comes easy to me. I could do this for free all day, but my family has to eat. My husband was relying on my income, so I can't just say, oh, I'm staying at home, you got to do this on you, deuce. No, he was relying on my income, so my family has to eat. I have goals that I want to achieve. There was debt that needed to be paid off. Like, I love going on a trip. There are trips that needed to be taken. So that costs money, and it's okay. Like, just because you get paid to be a teacher doesn't mean you can't charge for this book over here, or you can't charge for this speaking engagement, or you can't just charge to do consulting with somebody. You need to get paid for that. Assess the price appropriately and get paid from that. Like, get paid. Like, these rappers, like, it's a song called Get Paid. Young and get paid. Like, you need to get paid. Like, people are out here doing less than what this Instagram models that are making millions of dollars from posting a picture. You could absolutely write a book and make $1 million.
I hear you. And that's what I tell them all the time. My refrain is, I do not have availability dates. I have availability rates. That's just how I do it. I will do a couple of things for free to build that relationship. But after that, I send an invoice if you want some more stuff. Because if I'm sitting down to write, to do a podcast show for you, to speak, if you're getting paid, I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
That's how I roll.
And that's how you should roll. Like you said, there are I have giveaways. There's little checklists that I will do. There's little workshops or webinars that I'll have. But I do that so that you can build rapport, that you see my personality, you trust me. Because money, especially what I do, is a sensitive topic. Like, it's the taboo, so you're not letting everybody in your financial situation. So one, I'm developing my trustworthiness, my personality, my skill, my talents, my expertise. And then that next time I'm transitioning to making you a paying customer, boo. Like I've been in financial services 12 years. I have a degree in accounting. I have been in banking, public accounting, financial investments, long-term planning. That was experience. So I got experience that you gonna pay for. Cause y'all pay anything else? I'm trying to be like Macy's.
I hear you. For sure. I hear you. Oh, this is so good. People, so before we go, what is the most important lesson you've learned about money? Mm-hmm. And how can people work with you?
So the most important thing that I have learned about money is that it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. Important. And if you love on money, it will love you back. That means it's going to keep flowing in. So how you can reach me, specifically, I am on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So Twitter, I am Emerald Sparks ES. Facebook, I am Emerald Sparks. And Instagram, I am She's a Gem. And that is spelled SHZAGEM. You can always email me at emeraldsparks.com. You can go to my website, which is emeraldsparks.com, and set up a consultation, look at my workshops and courses, whatever. But that is how you get in contact with me.
People, she is a gem and has been dropping gems all day today. Thank you, Emerald, for being a guest on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. People, you know how I do this. The video cast is going up on iTunes. Well, our video cast is going on YouTube. I'm sorry. I need you to subscribe. I need you to share with everybody. With this information, share with your mama and your cousin too. Share with everybody you know. iTunes, SoundCloud, leave a review, subscribe, because a brother's trying to get Oprah on the show. I need you.
Oh, also.
Yes.
For anybody that mentions that they saw this, I will give them 15% off the service.
Oh, 15% off, people. We making money connections right now, people. So people, I'm going to show you when this is released. I'll have links and things to be able to get you contacted with Emerald. People, I love what I'm doing now, people, because I want all you educators who are watching this show, I want you to level up. Take control over your career, take control over your life, take control over your finances. Stop working at JCPenney's for minimum wage when you can be out there going to speak somewhere for $2,000 for one talk. When you can be selling your lesson plans on Teacher Pay Teachers, where you can be delivering courses and making money in your sleep. Stop working all day. And go to work for minimum wage somewhere else.
Yes. Goals.
Yes. So as always, people, invest in you, eat in you. Peace.